The vocabulary you should look at in this section are independent variable, dependent variable, function rule, function notation, input, and output. The input of a function is the independent variable, and the output of a function is the dependent variable. The value of the dependent variable depends on or is a function of the value of the independent variable. Example time. In the winter, more electricity is used when the temperature goes down, and less is when the temperature rises. What is the independent variable and what is the dependent variable? Well, when you look at it, it's really saying that the amount of electricity used depends on the temperature. So the dependent variable is the amount of electricity, and the independent is temperature. You kind of have to ask yourself, what depends on what? And if something depends on another thing, then that's a dependent variable, the one that needs to depend on something. An algebraic expression that defines a function is a function rule. So in an example, it says the amount of money Tasha earns is 5 times the number of hours she works. Write an equation using 2 different variables to show this relationship. So this is basically saying that Tasha babysits and charges $5 per hour. This is how you would write the equation. Y equals 5 times x. Now y is the amount earned, and 5 stands for the $5, and the x is multiplication, and the variable x is the number of hours worked. So this equation is basically saying the amount earned is $5 times the number of hours worked. If x is the independent variable and y is the dependent variable, then function notation for y is f, x in parentheses, read f of x, where f names the function. When an equation in 2 variables describes a function, you can use function notation to write it. So this is how it is read. The dependent variable is a function of the independent variable. It can also be said as y is a function of x, or the function notation y equals x equals f, x in parentheses. So in Tasha's example, since y equals f in parentheses x, Tasha's earnings is y equals 5x. It can be written in function notation by substituting, and this is how it will look if you substitute it out. Sometimes functions are written using y, and sometimes functions are written using x. Well, f, x in parentheses. In conclusion, I hope you are crystal clear on the topics of graphing relationships, relations and functions, and writing functions. Thanks for joining me today in my once-in-a-lifetime algebra math session. Goodbye.